This is the moment. Not tomorrow. Not in the next bull run. Now, the financial world is shifting beneath our feet. Silently, swiftly, irrevocably, the systems we've trusted for decades, bloated, fragmented, outdated, are being dismantled piece by piece. Not in headlines, not in panic, but in code, in policy, in quiet digital revolutions that only the watchful can see. And at the heart of it all lies something most still don't understand. ISO 20022. For years, it was written off as technical noise. Just a banking protocol. Just an upgrade. The acronym was ignored, the implications misunderstood. But silence doesn't mean insignificance, because beneath the noise of memecoins and market cycles, something deeper was unfolding. Now, the whisper has become a thunderclap, resonating through banks, institutions, and financial systems across the globe. And rising with it are the assets built for this moment. XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR. They aren't here for hype. They weren't built to trend. They were engineered to integrate directly into the infrastructure of global finance. These aren't just altcoins. They are the chosen rails of a new financial language, one built for speed, interoperability, regulation, and scale. ISO 20022 isn't coming. It's already being adopted by over 70 countries and counting. This is not about catching pumps. It's about front-running reality. Because these assets are not reacting to market trends. They are aligning with trillion-dollar systems preparing to flip the switch. This is quiet alignment with inevitability. So ask yourself truthfully, are you positioned? Or are you still waiting for someone else to tell you it's real? Because when the transformation hits, and it will, there won't be time to research. There won't be time to look into it. There will only be the ones who moved early, and the ones who move late. This isn't just another cycle. It's a paradigm shift, slow until it's sudden, invisible until it's irreversible. So study the tech, trace the signals, feel the undercurrent, and if you're ready to go deeper, if you're done being fed hype and want to understand what's really unfolding behind the scenes, subscribe to this channel right now. Because here, we don't chase pumps. We track revolutions. We break down the data, the moves, the protocols that most won't understand until it's too late. Click subscribe. Turn on notifications. Stay ahead of the curve. Because ISO 20022 isn't waiting for you to catch up. The rails are already being laid. And very soon, the engine will start running. And when it does, you'll either be riding with it or choking in the dust it leaves behind. It didn't start with a bang. No headlines. No market rally. No influencer hype. Just a quiet update. Buried in banking documents. Filed under compliance. Most people skipped over it, eyes glazed. Just another acronym, they thought. Just another regulation. ISO 20022. 3 letters and 5 numbers that would one day reshape the very fabric of global finance. But at the time, no one cared. Not the traders chasing green candles. Not the institutions trapped in legacy code. Not the skeptics who believed blockchain was a bubble, not a backbone. But beneath the noise, the work had already begun. The old financial system, built on fragmented messages and slow wires, was creaking under pressure. Couldn't keep up with modern demand. It wasn't secure. It wasn't fast. And worst of all, it wasn't transparent. So quietly, in boardrooms, labs, and code repositories, a new system was being written. One that spoke a universal language for money. One that could unify the fractured networks of the world into a single digital bloodstream. One that would demand new infrastructure and reward the assets built to run on it. Enter the quiet four: XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR. No gimmicks, no memetics, just utility, compliance, and clarity. They didn't move like the rest of the market, because they weren't here for the bull runs. They were built for the switch, the moment when the old world finally gives way to the new. When ISO 20022 stops being technical jargon and becomes the global standard. That moment is no longer in the future. It's happening now. This is the signal. Not loud, but undeniable. Not hyped, but permanent. And by the time it becomes obvious, it will be too late to be early. So here's your choice. Ignore it and hope to catch the wave later. Or dig deeper and position yourself before the crowd even knows what's coming. Because once the pipes are laid and the liquidity flows through these rails, the world won't ask if you're ready. It will simply move on without you. If you're serious about seeing where this is headed, if you want to stay ahead of the mainstream curve, subscribe to this channel now. We're not here for hype. We break down the signals, decode the shifts, and uncover what's building beneath the surface. Click subscribe, hit the bell, and step into the story before it becomes history. Because the signal is live and it's only getting louder. Every revolution has a moment, a fracture in time when the noise fades, the distractions fall away, and the truth, long hidden, stands in full view. Not everyone sees it, but those who do never forget it. For ISO 20022 coins, that moment has arrived. For years, they moved in the background, unnoticed by the hype chasers, ignored by influencers and dismissed by experts who couldn't see past volatility and meme cycles. While the crowd frothed over dog coins and TikTok narratives, these four digital assets remained silent, not asleep, not irrelevant, just waiting for the game to change, waiting for the regulators, once uncertain and hostile, to tighten their grip and push the space into maturity, waiting for central banks to finish their years-long tests behind closed doors and admit what they already knew. The future of money must be digital. It must be programmable. It must be interoperable. Waiting for the traditional financial system, bloated, broken, and outdated, to finally admit it needed help. And now, after years of quiet preparation, the silence is breaking. XRP isn't just battling legal uncertainty. It's standing trial for the future of compliant digital finance. It's every motion, every judgment, a precedent for everything that follows. A global audience watches as regulators, lawmakers, and markets wrestle with one simple question. Is this the coin that rewires international settlement? XLM is no longer on the sidelines. It's deep in the trenches, forming cross-border partnerships, targeting the forgotten zones of the global economy, the places where remittance fees devour hope and fiat fails the people it claims to serve. Stellar isn't trying to be loud. It's trying to be useful. And it is succeeding. XDC is moving where most people aren't even looking, into the sprawling, complex world of trade finance. An industry with more value than the entire crypto market combined. An industry desperate for speed, transparency, and automation, and one where XDC is already solving real problems today. And HBAR? HBAR was never built to trend on social media. It was built to scale at an enterprise level, backed by a governing council that includes global behemoths like Google, IBM, Boeing, and LG. Where others shouted into the void, HBAR quietly built infrastructure that meets the needs of real businesses, real governments, real systems. This is not hype. This is execution. This is alignment with the inevitable. And behind every move, every announcement, every new use case looms one force. ISO 20022, a new global language for money. More than 70 countries have already adopted it. Banks are upgrading. Financial systems are rewriting their core software. And the old way of sending money, slow, fragmented, vulnerable, is being phased out in real time. This isn't a trend. It's a global transformation. And most of the world still doesn't see it. They won't see it until the prices have moved. Until the headlines change. Until it becomes obvious. But the smart money is already here. It moved during the silence. It read the white papers. It followed the developments no one was talking about, and positioned accordingly. So now ask yourself, not as a trader, not as a speculator, but as someone who sees beyond the surface. Will you act before the world wakes up? Or watch from the sidelines as history writes itself without you? Because the awakening isn't coming. It's already here. And as with every awakening, Those who act in the quiet are the ones who lead when the noise finally begins. First, it won't feel like a breakthrough. It will come dressed as a footnote, a press release buried under the noise, a central bank's quiet announcement, a systems update labeled routine. But if you're paying attention, you'll know. This is the moment the world changes. The flip won't start with fireworks. It will begin in silence. A final test passed. A legacy system decommissioned. A switch toggled deep inside the engine room of global finance. ISO 20022 goes fully live. And with it, everything built to its standard. Everything that has waited in the shadows activates. XRP is no longer just a case study. It becomes the bridge. XLM stops being theoretical. It becomes the bloodstream of cross-border payments. XDC no longer whispers through trade corridors. It shouts through digitized contracts and instant settlements. HBAR moves from pilot programs to production, processing transactions for global enterprises in real time. This isn't speculation anymore. This is integration. And here's what most people still don't understand. When systems flip, they don't wait for you to catch up. They move fast, violently fast. The shift won't be gradual. It won't be polite. It will be instantaneous, like a dam finally breaking. Liquidity will flood in. Retail will sprint in panic. Institutions that mocked these assets will suddenly overexpose to them, calling it strategic repositioning. The media that laughed at ISO coins will begin interviewing analysts who always believed in the long-term vision. And the prices, suppressed, sideways, doubted for years, will uncoil with vengeance. Because you don't price coins like these the same way you price memes. You don't value infrastructure on vibes. You value it on necessity, on integration, on inevitability. And when the global economy begins to run on rails built by these protocols, they will no longer be investments. They will be requirements. But by then, the opportunity to position early will be gone. And all that will be left is noise, regret, and desperate attempts to buy in at the top of a wave already breaking. Because the flip doesn't announce itself. It doesn't wait for your portfolio to be ready. It doesn't care if you were skeptical. It happens with or without you. So the only question left is this. Where will you be standing when the switch is flipped? At the edge of transformation. Uncertain, unprepared, and watching the future leave you behind? Or already aligned, already inside, already ready? This is the final breath before the shift. The quietest second before the thunder cracks. The flip is coming. It may already be here. And when it hits, it won't offer a second chance. It will leave only two kinds of people. Those who moved early, and those who will forever wish they had. History never announces itself in real time. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't warn the crowd. It whispers, in quiet updates, in policy shifts, in unfamiliar acronyms like ISO 20022. First, no one notices. Not the media, not the markets, not even the people who should know better. But history doesn't need them to believe, because history is inevitable. It moves silently through the cracks, gaining momentum until it breaks through, suddenly, all at once. And by then, it's too late to be early. Right now, we are standing at the edge of one of the greatest financial shifts in modern history. This is not just another crypto trend. This is a transformation in how the world moves value. From analog to digital, from fragmented to unified, from slow, friction-filled systems, to instant, borderless, programmable money running on rails built for speed, scale, and trust. XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR. They are not speculative plays. They are the early architects of this new financial order, chosen not by popularity, but by protocol, engineered for compliance, trusted by enterprises, aligned with ISO 20022, the messaging standard quietly replacing the plumbing of the global financial system. Banks are migrating, countries are updating, payment giants are integrating, and yet, the majority of people are still asleep. Why? Because they're waiting for confirmation, waiting for the headlines to tell them what you already know. waiting for the candles to spike so they can feel safe. But by then, it won't be opportunity, it will be chase. You're different. You didn't find this video by accident. You're here because somewhere inside you, something clicked. You feel it, that tremor before the quake. That hush before the breakthrough. This is your moment. Not to follow. Not to chase noise. But to choose. To position before the breakout. To understand before the crowd. To act. Not because it's popular, but because it's right. Because revolutions are not events. They're turning points. Moments in history when everything shifts. Silently, irreversibly. And when the page turns, and it will, there is no going back. So ask yourself, will you be part of the few who moved before the breakout? Who saw it, understood it, and acted while the world laughed? Or will you be part of the many who watched it happen and wished they had one more chance? The choice is yours, but the clock is already ticking. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications, because this channel is not about trends. It's about truth. We break down the tech, decode the timing, and track what's really happening, while others are still distracted by the noise. Don't wait for the headlines. Don't wait for the candles. Don't wait to be told what you already feel. This is the signal. This is the awakening. This is the flip. And this is your call. Act now or get left behind.